Hey, basketball fans, welcome to your favorite WNBA YouTube show, Around the Rim. I am your co-host, LaChina Robinson, joined by co-host Terrika Foster-Brasby, who is the, drum roll, please, birthday girl. Happy birthday, Terrika. Team Leo. How you feeling? How you feeling on your day?
I'm great. I'm great today. Great mood, positive vibes, great weather. It's the great 38, so I'm here for it.
It's the great 38. I love that. And we start WNBA playoffs today on your birthday. Could not be more fitting because you have held down the W for a minute now.
They did it for me. They knew it was for me.
They knew. They absolutely knew. And I just want to say personally, in case you're new to this podcast or you don't know the dynamic between Terrika and I, y'all, this is my sister, my ride or die, my shoulder to cry on, to vent to chop down playoff games with. Terrika is tremendously talented as an analyst, reporter, so much more. She's a great wife. But just someone who brings joy to the lives of anyone's path that she crosses. So T, I just want to give you your flowers on today because we love you and we appreciate you and all that you do, man. You're the bomb.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Come October, you just wait.
All right, October. No, just kidding. No, seriously, we love you. We hope that your day is amazing. All right, basketball fans, we are here to break down the first round of the WNBA playoffs and just bring you up to speed on all that has happened. In case you are under a rock, the top 8 teams have been decided. That's right. Top 8 teams make the playoffs. We start round 1 with a best of 3 series. Now, in that best of 3, it's home, away. So the team that is hosting, which are teams 1 through 4, will get 2 home games. And if they win both of those, they move on to the semifinals, best of 5. If they do not, then they will have to clinch the series on the opponent's home court, which I don't think anyone wants to do that, but what you got to do, what you got to do. So in looking at the numbers, number 1 overall seed and home court all the way through the finals, if they make it, is the Las Vegas Aces. Number 2, Chicago Sky. Number 3, the Connecticut Sun, Terrika's home team. 4 is the Seattle Storm. 5, the Washington Mystics. 6 is the Dallas Wings. Shout out to Vicki Johnson doing the thing down the stretch. 7 is then the
New York Liberty.
New York Liberty. Yes, that's right. Who got in on the final day of the regular season, along with number 8, which is the Phoenix Mercury, who also got in on the last day of the regular season. I mean, these playoff spots were hot. Yeah. So T, we want to preview each of these matchups. And I'm just going to start with Connecticut because Connecticut and Dallas, this was a matchup that you were kind of concerned about, considering the fact that Dallas did take the season series 2-1. They had Enrique Gumbawale then, though, and she is out, unfortunately, for all of us that want to watch her play in the playoffs. She has had surgery, so she is unavailable to Vicki Johnson's group. But what about the way Dallas has played down the stretch concerns you against your son?
Yes, this matchup is very interesting to me. And that's because, number 1, Dallas has played extremely well down the stretch. And that's even without Enrique, right? So, yeah, she got off against us earlier in the season, but they've proven recently that they don't need her right now in order to be good. Tierra McCowan, my goodness, to see her face off against Jonquel Jones and how defensively that's going to play off. I mean, we know Jonquel is one of the best defenders in this game, but Tierra McCowan has really stepped up here recently. So that's something that concerns me a little bit. And also, I don't need Marina to come into Connecticut and show out because that's what she does. That girl's not afraid to go anywhere in anybody's building and drop 25 on you. I'm not trying to see that. And that's another thing that scares me a little bit. And I think the last thing for me is really because Connecticut has started off slow. Over the last few weeks, they've come out in the first quarter and they have just not really played well. They've started to find themselves in the second quarter, third quarter, and that's not something that you need to do in the postseason. These teams are going to come out hot and hungry. I need to see that offensive production early on into the game, not later in the game. But kudos to Dallas, though, right? Vicki Johnson, Coach of the Month, Tierra McCowan, Western Conference Player of the Month. Like, they're ready. So I'm nervous, sis. I'm nervous.
Yeah, you said it. Shout out to Vicky Johnson, because as you know, it's well documented on this show. I was concerned about the Wings and whether or not they would be able to make the playoffs, but they have. And to your point, Tierra McCowan in the month of August, keep in mind 6'7", and probably the closest thing to like a Sylvia Fowles type back to the basket power player, dominant in the paint, strong body type post we have. Not only averaging double figures, 10 of her last 11, but in the month of August, 18 points, 12 rebounds, shooting 55% from the field. I've said that I feel like this matchup is going to come down to the play of Ty Harris and Veronica Burton and the way that those two players are able to manage the game. Absolutely, Marina has some history with Connecticut fans, like the Huskies back in her Notre Dame days. That may come into play as a little bit of a motivation. You know what you're going to get from Alicia Gray. You know what you're going to get from Kayla Thornton, who I just is a warrior lover. So, yeah, we'll see what happens in that series. All right, moving along. The Washington Mystics taking on the Seattle Storm. Now, Seattle did their job. They had one job in the regular season, and that was to clinch home court advantage. They did that. They're in that 4 seed spot in the 4-5 matchup. That's where all the heat is. Now, I want to go a little bit on Seattle, but I'm going to let you start on this series. In particular, when you look at Washington, knowing all that Seattle can put on the floor offensively, what do you think needs to happen for the Mystics to get an upset?
Elena Delle Donne has to continue to show up because she played some of her best basketball against Seattle throughout the course of this season. She was averaging like 19.6 points per game in each of those games against Seattle. But Brianna Stewart was coming for her. Brianna Stewart was coming for her. So for me, I feel like that's a cancellation kind of play right there. Like, you know what you're going to get from these two. So you've got to get strong play out of Natasha Cloud. You've got to continue to get defense out of Ariel Atkins. You've got to see these players. I think Shakira Austin is going to play a huge role in this matchup because we've seen how she's begun to develop over the course of this year. And she was already getting some tough assignments. Like, she's already had to guard Tina Charles and Candace Parker and Sylvia Fowles, and she held her own in those matchups. And so I think those things are going to be so important for Washington. But I got faith. I got faith in these Mystics because I think they can go into Climate Pledge Arena and steal one. And if they can get game one, watch out, Seattle. Like, watch out. You should be on your toes.
Listen, if anyone can do it, Mike Thibault can do it. I think the one thing he has going for him, well, he's got a lot of things going for him. The 3 letters, EDD, right. And Natasha Cloud, who you hope is okay coming off of a knee injury in their Indiana matchup at the end of the season. But he has got probably the best defensive backcourt in the league. And so when you look at what Cloud, Ariel Atkins, Alicia Clark can do, they're going to disrupt you defensively. They're going to take away what you want to do on offense, and they're going to need that because Jewel Lloyd has been on fire. 38 points in the season closing game against Vegas. Jewel has been going ham from the 3-point line. Gold Mamba is locked in. So Mike Thibault's scouting ability, how great his staff does in, taking away your tendencies, making you uncomfortable. They're going to need all of that because Seattle has been going off. They have played really well down the stretch. Even the game they lost to Vegas, you can kind of see them getting comfortable with the play of Tina Charles, who doesn't have to score a ton of points. Just Tina being on the floor is giving them the floor spacings they need to allow Jewel and Brianna Stewart just more opportunities to be effective. And so Jewel continues to shoot the way she has, and Tina is getting comfy in the system. Is looking really good for Seattle, on top of the fact that they will be playing at home in a packed out Climate Pledge Arena because we don't know how many games Sue Bird has left in her career. So the people are going to be out. 2 outside storylines. This is Tina's old team. Played for the Mystics last year. And Alicia Clark has won championships playing for Seattle. So just a couple of little messy dynamics that I'm excited to watch.
super messy, but I also want to add, because Rebecca Lobo actually pointed this out to me a couple of days ago, and I think she mentioned it again on NBA Today, is that Elena Delle Donne had not been shooting well from three.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also going to play a huge factor into this game, because she's one of those bigs that knows how to knock it down from outside. If she finds her rhythm in this game and finds out that outside shot, I'm telling you, look, Washington don't have me out here capping for y'all and y'all don't come through. Okay.
Definitely keeping our eyes on that. Kareem Copeland of the Washington Post outlining that Delle Donne's father, the architect of her shot, came in town to help her work on those mechanics. So we'll see if that pans out in Seattle. All right, we are going to move over to the Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury. Now, the Aces, the 1 seed, Phoenix, the 8. They showed a lot of resilience down the stretch of the regular season, having lost Skylar Diggins-Smith. She is out due to personal reasons. Diana Taurasi, we don't know if she will play in the playoffs no time soon, for what we understand, with that quad injury. So they are man down. And 2 obviously very important players, two of the best in the league right now. But they showed a lot of resilience in getting into the playoffs. The question is, do they have a shot against the Aces?
I mean, if that's a rhetorical question, I think we both know the answer to that. The reality is, it's just, so I look at it like this. When these two teams met each other in the regular season, and granted, it was a while ago since they met, so it wasn't like this is like both teams have changed tremendously since that time. But this is when they had Skylar, and when they had DT, and when they had even a Tina Charles, and it wasn't close. So I can't imagine now, with missing so many pieces to that puzzle, that it would still be close. But you've got to feel good if you're Phoenix, because one, if there's any team in this league that had to deal with a lot of adversity this season, it's that. On top of the Brittany Griner, on top of the coaching change, and we questioned Vanessa Nygaard and how, the chemistry, and if she had team buy-in. I definitely was one to question that. Like, there was a lot going on with this team this year. And for them to be the team that represented in the finals last year, you kind of feel like you needed to get back there this year. So just being able to, place yourself into the postseason, I think is something that's relieving for this team. And I also think, you've got to show some love to Diamond DeShields. She's a champion, and she has been in this position before, and she had to put the team on her back over the last couple of games, and she was able to stand up and do that. So got to show some love to Diamond. I think they're going to be competitive, but I just don't think they have enough to go against Las Vegas, especially that Las Vegas team that showed up on Sunday. That Las Vegas team. Dangerous.
You don't want any of that. You don't want any of Chelsea Gray's 33 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. You don't want any of that. Okay. But to your point, in case this is the last time that Phoenix is actually relevant, as we're, recording our podcast, probably after the first round is done, major props to Phoenix. It has been a rough season for a number of reasons. So the fact that y'all are even in the playoffs, like, a lot of resilience, a lot of respect, man. But yeah, that Vegas is something different. All right. So moving along, our last matchup, and another very interesting one, comes down to the New York Liberty and the Chicago Sky. Chicago has the home court advantage. However, James Wade's team did drop 2 of their last 3 in the regular season. And I don't know, it seems like the folks are out for Chicago right now, not feeling the back-to-back championship run. And you look at their roster, no doubt that James Wade is going to get Executive of the Year. I mean, what he's put together on paper is amazing. He's starting 3 finals MVPs and has the deepest team in the league. So we know where we stand there, but why are we thinking that there are some concerns about this New York Liberty team pulling an upset?
Because this New York Liberty team showing up and showing out at the right time, which is very similar to what Chicago did last season. Last season, Chicago was coming into this thing like 14-15 or 15-15. Like, they were very much in the middle of the road, and somehow, some way, they figured out how to pull it together at the right time, and they went on a run to a championship. This New York Liberty team is doing the same. 5-2 in the month of August. They are really figuring out, and this is a team that we also had a lot of questions about coming into the season. Why? New coach Sandy Brondello, a lot of injuries at the beginning of the season. We had no idea who was going to start and what rotation at any given moment. But now Betnijah Laney is back. Now Sabrina Ionescu is playing the kind of basketball that we have always wanted to see her play in this league. Sandy Brondello is starting to get the buy-in from the players, and it looks good for them right now. This is also a team that really knows how to deck that thing from behind the arc. And if they get hot, okay, and the way that Chicago has defended lately, that makes you nervous that New York can go in and steal one in Chicago. Now, I'm not going to say they can win a series. I don't know. But I do think that they have the kind of fire right now in terms of the momentum and the motivation that they think that they can get one. And if Chicago can't turn up that defense, then they are. And I just want to also throw out that there was a recent article that came out that James Wade is not a fan of this new format, because he thinks like, hey, listen, if there's a closeout game, I would like to have that closeout game on my home floor, because our team has worked really hard to have home court advantage, not necessarily having to have that closeout game on the road. And my thinking is, James, why are you thinking about a closeout game in a game 3? It's because you know that New York is a team that can come in there and steal one. So be on your toes.
I don't like it. I don't like James already coming out talking about a closeout game. It's not.
I don't like it.
Nope. I don't like it at all. And, you know, when you look at New York, the fact that Betnijah Laney has only played in 5 regular season games to end the season, no one has had a chance to prepare for her. That's the kind of wrinkle that, yes, it's been hard playing without her, but they overcame. I mean, Sandy Brondello has done a brilliant job. Let's just be honest. Other teams are like, shoot, well, now how are we defending A, B, and C? Because Betnijah just brings a whole nother level of offensive execution. She's been shooting well from 3. You know, we know she's an all-star already in this league. She's also an all-defensive player in the WNBA as well. So she gives you another body to put on a Kahleah Copper, for example. They played together. Oh, I just thought about that. I got a photo. They played together at Rutgers. So, you know, there's just a lot here in this matchup that you should be concerned about. And shout out to Sabrina Ionescu, who really willed this team into the playoffs on her shoulders. I mean, she didn't finish strong in her last regular season game against Atlanta, but the whole purpose was, let's win these 2 games against Atlanta so that we get in. And they beat a tough dream team to even get in. Sabrina's averaging 18 points and, you know, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. And she's been great. But if those 3 start falling, if Maureen Johannes and Sammy Wickham start taking it downtown and that Chicago defense isn't ready, taking your bigs, because, you know, they like to play some different big lineups, it could be trouble, right? And so, yes, absolutely, Natasha Howard and Stephanie Dolson have their work cut out for them, because you're looking at a front line of Candace Parker, Emma Meeseman, Kahleah Copper. Oh, yeah, then you can bring Azurá Stevens off the bench. Like, it's just ridiculous. What they do in the paint is most impressive about this team. Courtney Vandersloot, your future Hall of Famer. So there's a lot of pieces, but that defense got to be packed and in the bag. Packed and in the bag. All right, y'all. So that is it for our playoff preview. Well, not even our playoff preview. That's just a round 1 preview. We will be back next week. So if you're going to be tuning in, which you better be tuning in, New York at Chicago, 8 p.m. tip Wednesday on ESPN2. Phoenix at Las Vegas, 10 p.m. on ESPN. That's Wednesday the 17th. Thursday, Dallas at Connecticut at 8 p.m. These are all Eastern time. That game will be on ESPNU and NBA TV. Washington at Seattle, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. I'll be calling that game with Pam Ward and Roz Gold-Onwude. Saturday, 8:20, New York at Chicago at noon on ESPN. Phoenix at Vegas at 9 p.m. on ESPN2. Sunday, Dallas at Connecticut at noon on ABC. Washington at Seattle at 4 on ABC. Tuesday, Chicago at New York, if necessary, will happen. And also Vegas at Phoenix, if necessary. These are game 3 scenarios. And then on Wednesday, if needed, there will be Connecticut at Dallas and Seattle at Washington. Woo, that's a lot. Anything else, T? Birthday girl, what's your wish? What you got?
I'm not gonna say my wish out loud because this is a family friendly show and we're gonna keep it family friendly. Yes. Love that face. Yes, but your girl will definitely be on WNBA coverage. So I got the Connecticut Dallas game tomorrow on ESPNU. So we holding it down.
Let's go. Congratulations, playoffs. I ain't want to go public because I ain't know what was going on. But
we telling everybody the business. We telling everybody the business.
Oh well, congratulations to you. You're so deserving. We can't wait to watch you.
Love it.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.